When I was coming up in martial arts, I would frequently hear of schools that didn't allow their students to train on different teams. Or look at videos, for instance. That practice of looking at videos for outside content different than what it was being taught at the school was discouraged. When I look back on that, I found myself thinking that I really didn't appreciate those practices, and those practices seemed foreign to me, as I was from a school that encouraged me to look up other things, to always be exploring, and potentially to train somewhere else and take up more information that I could bring back. And that's how I started martial arts. But over the years, I think differently about these things. And I can see why some schools would favor loyalty, and that they want their students to be only with them. What I would regard as the other scenario is efficiency, which means that we're looking for different ways of doing techniques. And these techniques from our outside sources might be more effective if we find, for instance, a YouTube video. There could be a real gold mine of a technique that makes us do a movement with more pressure and more speed as well. As my thoughts have changed on this issue, I'll begin with the loyalty side of things. And this is where, like with loyalty, the school knows where you'll end up by following a certain curriculum, and it has a vision for you as a student. This path, like, it's well thought out. It's a road that they know where you'll end up, and that's important. Also, how it has the thoughts of its students in mind and the benefits of its students in mind is that this student who wants to look at outside things might not have like a discerning eye to see a particular technique and know that some things have to be in place for that technique to work. An inexperienced practitioner will not be able to discern a good technique from a bad technique, as they haven't had the level to have any such filter. So they're kind of, if they're looking at YouTube videos, they're just kind of looking at it all with no discernment as to what's good and what's bad. Now, for points in efficiency's favor, and why students who can potentially go to other places and get better, it's without question that some schools will have better ways of doing things than other schools, and certain techniques will favor different body types. So there might not be anything wrong from a school's way of doing things, but it's suited to one body type, where a different school is favored to a different body type and can really work from that platform, can really show nuances to a technique that'll make it work better for a particular student. One thing as well, in that if you're from a school who discourages you to train other places, is that your networking opportunities are going to be limited, because you can't go somewhere else and make those contacts. And just like in everything else, the more people you know, the better. So if a school is cutting you off from other people, you aren't going to be as efficient a martial arts practitioner, because you're only exposed to one way of doing things. You're not taking in the whole picture. And other schools have things that might benefit you, but you are staying in your loyal, driven school, and that's not an issue, but it's just not going to advance you in the social aspects. You're going to be cut off from people that you could potentially make friends with, and you're going to be limited training-wise too, as these different schools have different seminar opportunities. If you only train at one place, then you only have the opportunities presented by that one school when there's just so much potentially out there. These have been my thoughts on what for me has been a fascinating topic. And it's a topic that I've changed a lot in my opinion over the years. But I'd be very interested in what everyone else thinks and the different schools that they come from. Like, is a more loyalty-driven curriculum favored in your school, or does your school encourage you to explore and figure things out for yourself? And like me, do you see the pluses and minuses from both sides of that this experience of there's just being so much information out there, and exposure to that information can have different effects. Some schools would favor you looking for things, and some schools think that it can take you in a direction that they don't know where you're going, and they don't know where you might end up. So be sure to let me know in the comment section what you think, and consider liking and subscribing to my video. Thank you.